here's a question for you. Is marriage overrated?
Why aren't people getting married anymore?
A new Pew Research poll found that 2 in 5 young adults think marriage is an outdated tradition.
Marriage rates are at their lowest right now.
Is marriage really even worth it?
More than half of marriages end in divorce.
If you get married, you have to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's why you get married. So that's why it's declining. Why would you get married if you want to have just one partner when you can have multiple?
Marriage is stupid.
Welcome to the Married AF podcast, the self-proclaimed greatest marriage and relationship podcast in the world. We're your hosts, Matthew and Monica Powers, and you're about to hear part one of our conversation that may have gone a little bit longer. So we're mixing it up and going to split it into two parts on your trip to Juarez, Mexico, and what all that entailed, what you took away from it from there with our friends at Hunger House International. It's an amazing conversation, a really deep conversation, in-depth conversation. So listen, we split it up into two parts. You'll hear this one this week, the next one the next week. Please enjoy this conversation.
Apparently I talk too much.
Yeah. I believe we finally have the spot.
It only took 4 different locations.
Yeah, well, we've gone. Listen, we went.
Not the fourth of this spot, but
we went to breakfast nook, to office, to living room, to office, to downstairs in one area, to downstairs in another area, last recording, to downstairs in the same area of the last recording. But things altered and shifted just a little bit because while you were in Juarez, Mexico.
I like how you tried to say it. That was cute.
Yeah, it was bad. So bad. While you're in Juarez, Mexico this past week, I was like, you know what? I'm going to surprise my beautiful wife. I'm going to change things up just a little bit, take her area of what she created because I loved it, and just try and spruce it up a little bit.
Well, I couldn't spruce because I had no materials to spruce with.
So I got some materials to spruce with.
You spruced it up.
What are your thoughts?
I couldn't believe you were down here. I love that you tried to surprise me with it. And
completely forgetting we have cameras.
Like surprises. But yeah, but I didn't even look at what the boxes were. I just saw that there were a lot of boxes delivered.
And this, I mean, this
I really thought it was probably parts.
Which would make
because I never looked
sense.
at what vehicle it was.
Yeah, it just makes sense. But I picked it all out. The tables, the rug, the chairs, furniture, the chairs, the white ivory velvet chairs.
And you know I love velvet.
I know you do. So I'm glad you love it. Hopefully all you people like it as well. The ones who watch us on the interwebs and on YouTube. People watch us, believe it or not.
I don't believe it.
So thank you to all those who watch, who listen, who download, subscribe, all that. It's amazing. But you just got back from Juarez yesterday. We were talking upstairs before we recorded. And
because we were talking about your message that you gave today.
Yes, and I pressed pause on the whole thing and was saying, you know what? We need to talk about this so others can hear it because I think it's good and impactful. And the message we talked about today at church was on hope and about our hope. And Jesus is the hope of the world. And we need that hope, and that a lot of us are living of the things of this world, and marriages can be a part of that, where we put too much hope in our spouse, which we should have hope in our marriage. I have hope in our marriage, but it's not the foundation and the basis of it all. And that the true hope comes from the power of Jesus and what he is able to offer. The Bible says, and his name will be the hope of the world. And that's what it was all about. And then you began talking about Juarez in your devotionals. And I said, you know what? Press pause. We got to talk about this for others to hear because it's that impactful.
I just hope the outcome, because you don't even know where I was going to finish. You're like, stop. This is a podcast. Let's go down there right now.
Totally was. And no, I have no idea where this is going. I don't know what you're going to say, where this is going to finish. But we were talking about your devotionals.
So if this sucks, it's on you.
Totally. And
this one will not make it if it's bad.
And what sparked the conversation is we were talking about hope in church today.
Yes.
And Proverbs 13:12 says that a hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yes.
And that was kind of the general theme, you would say, throughout the message. And we talked about how deferred hope, and we want things, and we hope for things, and we pray for things, and we believe things that could happen. And whether it's our relationship or our finances or the bank account or around Christmas season, the holidays, that experience, we put our hope in so many things. But sometimes it feels like God is just pushing things on along, like he's brushed off my prayers. He doesn't care about me. And that is what truly makes the heart sick. And as we talked about that, I gave this example of a study that was done in the 1960s with dogs. And I had heard this from Craig Rochelle, gave this kind of example and illustration. I was like, man, that's strong.
Yeah, it's very so sad.
It's very sad. It's very strong. But the gist of it.
Our son, when you were speaking about this, he was sitting next to me and he kept looking at me like, huh?
Cash was devastated.
His heart.
He even told me on the way home. That's why I tried to preface it. Hey, if you're a dog person, don't get mad at me. I didn't do this. But in the 1960s, a scientist, just the Cliff's Notes version, was doing a study, and he had sets of dogs in two separate cages. One cage, dogs get shocked. He puts a lever in. Dogs do everything they can to find the lever. They press the lever. The shocking stops.
They don't know that the lever stops it.
But they discover, hey, if I push this, I'm no longer being shocked. Mm-hmm. That's great. And they do this day after day. And the dogs learned behavior of, hey, I just push the lever, shocking stops. The other cage, the dogs, same thing. We're getting shocked. There was no lever. So just constantly, no matter what they did, they're being shocked. And what they learned is that, hey, this is just my life. This is my lot in life. This is what I am. It's never going to get any better than this. I'm just going to live in a perpetual state of being shocked. So the scientists took the two sets of dogs, he put them into this one big cage, and he had this little wall in the center. And they're all started on one side. They're all being shocked again. And what he found was that the dogs who were shocked with the lever, they were running around and they were doing everything they possibly could to find that relief. And when they got over to the other side of the wall, the shocking stopped. But those other dogs who all they knew was being shocked, there was no way to stop it. They didn't even make an attempt to go to the other side of the wall. They saw what the other dogs were doing, made no attempt because they knew that this is my lot in life. This is who I am. This is all it's going to be. And they just stayed there. And what the scientists learned was that this was what they called a learned hopelessness. And that I believe most of us walk around with a learned hopelessness of this is my lot in life. This is how it's going to be. This is all that I get. And that began you sparking the thought and the conversation of what happened in Juarez and what you experienced and what you saw and questions you had and discussions that you guys had together who were on this mission trip. So
yeah,
take it from there.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to reenact all the exact words that I was telling you.
It's good enough.
But that verse, it's Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. But there's another part of that verse. That's just the first half of that verse.
That is the first half. And that's where I brought it back at the end of the message was there's more to this than that. So what is that?
The second part is, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life.
Yes.
So when that happened, that you said that verse, it was, you finished the verse after you had said the hopelessness.
Yes.
The learned hopelessness. That the other dogs could see what was going on over here, and these dogs were just laying down. They were doing nothing, which made me think of Juarez, because El Paso is where we go to cross over in New Mexico, because you can't tell them apart.
They're neighbors. They're right there next to each other.
But you, on either side, the downtown part of El Paso, there's a big bridge that you can cross over into El Paso. And you can see there's high-rise buildings in El Paso. So if you go up in those buildings, you can literally look over into Juarez and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to have binoculars. It's that close. But there's no different from what's going on over in Juarez, that you can't see all the big high-rise type of things in El Paso right there. Knowing that some people can't cross over, they might be there and thinking they're just there.
Kind of like the dogs. They're there. They see the other dogs, and they're like, well, yeah, that's there, but I don't deserve this.
Yes. So I'm going to take you through anyone who loves someone that has ADHD, and not everybody has the same type of ADHD, but an ADHD brain. Okay.
Here, buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
This is, I'm very thankful for all of those that love me, knowing that I don't think it's bad. I think we are just the ones that have my brain type that are constantly going. They're doing. They cannot stop. We are the ones that have to have all the medication to reel us in, to focus on the one thing, so we can actually get things done instead of having massive things going on at one time. I feel like that is literally our house. There's so many, oh, well, I didn't get to finish this. I got to go back and do this. Oh, I started over here. It's a lot for people, especially if you're OCD. You can't understand what's going on with us constantly, because there's different types of ADHD. I know that, but
yes, it can be a little chaotic at times.
It's organized chaos.
It is, and the thing is, pretty much only you recognize the organization and the chaos sometimes now, because we've been together for so long, and I've learned you. I can see the chaos, the organization in it sometimes, but yes, to a lot, it can look like a what in the heck is going on here?
And it looks like a massive mess. But if somebody takes one thing out of my mess, I instantly know, who's been in here? Who's touched my stuff? Like, the biggest issue we have at this house right now are scissors.
Listen, our daughter,
I know who it is.
she steals scissors like crazy. But you know, that reminds of the Jesus and the woman at the well. Not the woman at the well, but the woman with the issue of blood.
Yes.
And they're walking through this huge crowd, and it's chaos, and it's nuts, and it's going crazy. And she touches just the bottom of his robe, the hem of his garment.
Not
And
him.
Just the clothes.
Just
and
this little
Jesus
part.
immediately recognizes and says, "Hey, who touched me?" And his disciples are like, "I mean, what are you talking about? Crazy? Do you not see all the people around us? Every single person here has touched you multiple times. What in the world are you talking about?" That's what that reminds me of, because you recognize
it right away
when nobody else can.
Mm-hmm. But that part of my brain, the end of this, what is it? Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Second part here. But a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. Every single time I go to Juarez at the orphanage, there's this gorgeous tree, and it's in the back of the orphanage where all the kids play. And there has not been a time when I've been to Juarez that I have not climbed this tree.
This is true.
So there's that spark. That made me think of Juarez. Already thinking of Juarez because the border with the dogs, they can see over, and they finally get over, but they don't really know what to do. In that moment, I felt like I was the dog with the shocked collar that could stop the lever. I could stop it. But jumping over, it completely killed it. But when I get over, I see all of the other dogs who just accept it.
This is my life.
That made me think of the children of Juarez.
Yeah, these are the cards that I've been dealt, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I'm going to be happy about it. This is just what it is. That can go for any situation, honestly.
Oh, I mean, that's.
But this was just.
That's a real situation. We do that all the time with it's just dumb little things.
Yeah.
I mean, we people who are very into it just found out last couple hours that Alabama did not make the college football playoff. And
I didn't know.
Guess what? There are people who are thinking that is the most devastating thing in the world right now. Like, how in the world can Alabama not make it? This is Bama we're talking about here. How could SMU get in over them? What in the world is going on? This is just how it is from now on. Saban's gone, and this is going to be our lot in life forever as an Alabama fan. But two completely different extremes, but similar circumstances. But one is real life, and one is stupid.
Who is SMU?
Southern Methodist. They're in Texas.
Cool.
Very cool.
Somebody I've never heard of getting in there.
There you go. Look at that.
It makes you want to watch football.
It does a little bit. So I'm changing it up a little bit. Anyways, it's the same premise.
But because of that, you had said something else. I have learned hopelessness starred, and then an arrow to Proverbs 13:12, and then you finished with, but for those that are just still laying there, you can't just lay there, because Revelations 22 proves that hope is still an option, because Jesus says, I will return.
Yes. Jesus says, I am coming soon.
Yes.
Jesus said, I'm coming back, because, for the Old Testament, forever, the Savior's coming. Messiah's coming. He's coming. And the dude never shows up until one day Jesus is born. He comes. He's there. The arrival of Jesus, the hope of the Savior of the world is here. And hope is restored for so many people in that moment during that time. Well, for us, we can think of it as, well, Jesus already came. It's over. What do I have to hope for? But Jesus says, I am coming soon. He's coming back.
Excuse me. So there was another great quote that you said that in your message today. I don't know who said it. I don't even know if you said who said it, because I was really interested in getting the exact quote instead. I don't know who said it, but it was, God must love ordinary people because there's so many of them.
Yes. I heard that. I'm not sure who the original said, but I heard that from Coach Jim Valvano, the NC State basketball coach, in one of the speeches that he was giving in a presentation or a talk. And it was someone when he was younger who he looked up to, and he said it kind of destroyed him because he's thinking extraordinary. But yes, God must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of them.
Well, that also got me thinking, because I know I'm far from ordinary. I don't necessarily go around and go, oh, well, I'm unique and you're not. I don't necessarily tell people all my things. Now that you've done a podcast, people know.
People know some things.
But you also asked the question, how are you doing spiritually?
Mm-hmm. Like for real.
Like, is it good? Is it bad? Because this time of year, it's Christmas here in the States, people get a little depressed. And
they do. Well, and they also think, it's Christmas. People are more in tune with Jesus and church. We call them CEOs, Christmas and Easter onlys. That's when they go to church. But it's a reality. Yes, the CEOs, the Christmas and Easter's only. But yes, people are very depressed this time of year.
And maybe that's why for the past 8 years, I can't believe it's been 8 years, I've been going to Juarez at Christmas time. I mean, I've been at different times, but this is so humbling. And I've had our kids go, are we getting underwear for Christmas again? Socks and underwear. Now, we love getting socks from Gigi and Pops.
Bombas socks are next level.
I found something out about Bombas on this mission trip that made me love Bombas even more.
And I want to hear it.
I had no idea when you buy a pair, they donate a pair.
They're like Tom's shoes.
They're just like
I didn't know that either.
I love them even more.
That makes me love Bombas socks even more.
Because we give out socks. And someone who had never been on the mission trip before, he was telling us about socks. It was Daniel Oldham. I'm going to call him out. And he said, if we're doing socks, I wish I'd have known. We have a ton of Bombas socks. It's like, Bombas socks? How do you have a ton? He goes, Brother Brian Mission, Bombas gives them. And I said, are you serious?
I had no idea.
What do you mean
amazing.
they give them? He said, they're the ones that you buy a pair, they donate a pair. I said, I love Bombas. I will continue to buy my $13 to $18 pair of Bombas. That's first world problems right there.
Yes, it is.
But knowing that somebody else is going to get a pair.
Someone else who cannot afford them,
because
who cannot get them.
They give them to Brother Brian. Brother Brian is a ministry here in Alabama that helps people go and recover.
Yes.
And on Sunday mornings, they get to come to our church.
Yeah, it's an amazing ministry that's helped so many people.
So I've heard our kids, are we going to get that again? But the kids that get socks, like they're not even new packaged socks. We rip the packages open and fold them up and give them to these kids. They are just beyond grateful for a pair of socks.
Where us in the United States, like you
I
told
got
me,
socks.
socks. I wanted the new iPhone, and you got me socks. I
Which
wanted a
makes me-
PS5. You got me socks. Yes.
So continuing with my ADHD brain made me think, why? No wonder people are so depressed this time of year. They're having to worry about giving somebody something or not having enough to give somebody. But we are so horrible. We don't even appreciate the things that we have. Like this. This is the coolest setup. I mean, I'm sure that there's other podcasts out there that have all the fancy things.
Oh,
but
totally. But
you
still.
do all of this stuff. You've done the microphones. You've done the cameras. You've done, I mean, I ordered these, but and
Right.
we had Pace make this. But we don't have to have this to have a podcast. It can just be us doing something. This is something I'm grateful for.
Extremely
That we
grateful
have
for.
this kind of space in our basement to set this type of stuff up. I just left a place where kids have dirt as floor.
They have holes in their walls to the outside. You showed me a picture of it was someone's bathroom, and they have
They don't
like
have running water.
They don't have running water, but they're just like cinder block walls, and they had a jacket shoved
In
in
a
this
spot that was not able to be closed in
because
they
it's
didn't
just
have
and it's
enough
just a
brick.
hole to the outside. And they got a jacket that's shoved in there. You're right. I mean, we got to be incredibly grateful for what we have. Mm-hmm. You know, we think we have it bad, which I don't want to discount people's struggles. I mean, they're real.
Yeah.
But
They're
you
nothing.
think we have it bad?
Nothing you're going through compares to what the people in the state of Trinidad are going through.
Right.
Especially in Juarez.
Yes.
Because, those kids are grateful.
Well, no, those kids
When they see these crazy white people walking in, they're like, oh, they give you hugs because they're not getting hugged enough. They're getting molested. They're getting raped. They're getting sold
They're getting
for sex
murdered.
because
you know, I mean,
they need,
their
their parents want money because most people make, for us now, found this out that a monthly salary type or an income for a family in that part of Juarez, $200
a month.
a month for us.
Wow. That's crazy.
I had more than $200 in my pocket, cash. That's one family's
Monthly income.
income.
That's wild. So it'd be easy to see where.
I understand why people cross the border,
Oh, totally.
especially illegally, because you're going to get paid in cash. That's going straight back to their family because everything that they're doing and making here is, I think it's $1 US equals roughly 20 pesos.
Okay.
So that adds up very quickly. I got a Diet Coke and a Snickers bar. Ask me how much that cost.
How much did that cost?
$1.50.
$1.50. You can't get a Diet Coke for $1.50.
I can't get a Diet Coke. I can't get a candy bar here for $1.50.
No.
I can get a candy bar from the school that's the off-brand kind because they're doing a fundraiser for $1.
Yes.
They're good.
But not Snickers.
Not Snickers, nor Diet Coke. And
The Mexican Diet Coke's next level. Oh my God. Next level.
anyways, so things like that made me think of when we went back at the end of when we were doing stuff for the kids during the day. We would have Christmas parties and for them, everything. We would have dinner at the end of the day. All the kids that had left, we were at the orphanage. We would have dinner, and then we would have devotion. And so I was so excited because Hunger Cows this year, we had pamphlets, I guess,
Which is awesome.
and a daily thing because we did devotions daily together. We would talk about, we would do a whoop and a poop.
What's a whoop and a poop?
A whoop is something that whoop whoop
Okay.
was good,
I would say a poop is bad.
and a poop is bad.
Okay. I've never heard that before. But
But it was great.
That's phenomenal.
Everybody had to go around. We
whoop
sit
and a
in a
poop.
circle, and everybody has. Well, someone would start, and there's You got to give your whoop and your poop.
I love that.
And then we went into our questions. So I'm going to go to the page that made me think of this with what you said. How are you doing spiritually?
Mm-hmm.
This was day 2 for us. And the question is, in as few words as possible, describe your state of your spiritual walk. Because I literally have, you said to ask yourself, how are you doing spiritually?
Really ask yourself. Because we love to give that, to save face. And oh, great, man, everything's good. Yeah, fine. I went to church a couple times and, prayed
talk to God.
But not like,
I know Jesus is my king,
Really, though, be honest with yourself. How are you doing spiritually?
Mm-hmm. My answer, I said, in as few words as possible, describe your state of your spiritual walk. Ready for mine?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Constant, strong, tested more than ever expected, and intimate.
That and the tested more than ever expected was, that's real.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will think, well, Jesus, you give your life to Jesus, you're going to be a Christian. Things smooth sailing from there.
No, it's not.
It's nice and easy. Life is good. Could not be further from the truth. In fact, it can be more difficult as a Christian than not. And Jesus, it's not like we should be surprised.
Right.
He says, in this world, you're going to have trouble. But he also says, hey, remember they hated me first. The people will hate you, and that's absolutely the truth. Does not mean life is all easy when you give your life to Jesus.
Well, what you just said goes perfectly into the question that they asked the next day. And I didn't even write anything down because this was super easy for me. The question is, what is your biggest challenge in leading others to Jesus? I was like, I'll go first. Pick me.
Easy one. I got it.
Because everybody just went.
Yeah, that's one of those.
Don't make the eye contact. I don't want to have to answer.
Those moments when you're in school and you're in class, the teacher asks a question, you're just like,
don't look her in the eye.
Look anywhere I possibly can. Just don't call on me because I don't want to answer this question.
Right. But I was, ooh.
Just like Monica Geller from Friends.
Yes.
Pick me.
Yes. Was that when they did their book?
Yes.
The book club?
Phoebe. Yes.
And Rachel.
I know. Yeah.
Anybody besides Monica. Yes, that was that moment.
Yes.
But, of course, I was the only one that was willing to go first. I didn't have to write anything down because it says, what is the biggest challenge? What is your biggest challenge in leading others to Jesus? I don't have one. I am a walking, talking billboard. People that know me know. I would love my identifier to be, she follows Jesus.
That will conclude our first half of our conversation on your trip to Juarez.
Sorry for talking too much.
Hey, that's okay. It's a conversation that was great, that was needed. We hope that you got something out of it. We do want to mention, if this does anything for you, if this impacted you in any way, Hunger House International, they're an incredible organization, incredible ministry. We know Ethan and Lindsay Efferson, before they ever even did this, before they were married. We'll have a link to that for you just to see the amazing work that they are doing. It's absolutely unbelievable and honored that we get to do that together.